Welcome back, everybody. It's been a while, is all I can say. I hope everybody's keeping well. It's took me a bit longer to set up this evening. It's been so long since I've done this. But great to see so many people back on with us there. How you doing, Nigel Haynes from South Wales? Brendan Spillane is on with us there. Gary McFly is on there as well with us. Paul Burke, good to have you on. Good to see everyone. Liam Long, Norman Wells, Robert Flaherty, Ricky Croak. Yeah, Ricky, 15 days left to go for us. Gary's on there, Paul Burke, David O'Dunn. How you doing, Dave? Dave will be back on tonight, of course, folks, with our trivia. He's got a stack of trivia questions lined up for you tonight. He's had plenty of time to think of a couple of tricky ones for you, so he'll be back on there. Norman Wells is on there, and Declan Noonan, Gary McFly, Brendan Spillane, Ken Tubby's on there. Ken Dunn was on with us there. Brian Kennedy, how you doing, Brian? Gary Hogarty, Peter Wadden is on there as well. Can't wait either. Peter, Graham Connolly, Tony Rooney, James Kavanagh, Adrian Cod. Great to see so many people back on. Eugene's on there as well. How you doing, Eugene Fagan? Won't be long now, Eugene. And Michael McLean, Alan Noel Kelly, Joe Hanlon from Wicklow, Gillespie's on there as well, Glenn Campbell, Dylan Roberts from Wales. How you doing, Dylan? Been a while since we caught up. We were due a good catch up. Ted Worry's on there as well, Mark Joyce. Hi to everybody. I've got phones going here. Sean Maxey's on with us there. Robbie Berry's on as well. Brian Canty. Great to see so many people back on. It's been a while. It's been early December. Man, so much has happened since we were on there. Last, I suppose I'll just address that first if you don't mind. So went off to Australia. As most of you know, then unfortunately man passed away. Once I do, Mark Sloan is on there, Michael Appleby. Man passed away, and just since I got back from Australia, I just really haven't had the heart for live shows and stuff like that. But nonetheless, I said I definitely would do something before. We always run till the Saturday before the trout season for us, which is St. Patrick's Day. I know there's lots of people out there. How you doing, Tim Sullivan? Lots of people out there fishing away as of yesterday. People that braved the cold elements yesterday, and indeed some people since the 4th or the 15th of February have been managing to get out. I haven't got out yet much. Done a bit of stocky fishing last weekend. We had all Ireland Banks last week on Laois Angling Centre, so I was focusing on that. And yeah, just since I got back from Australia, just really haven't had the time or just the heart to do live fly tying sessions. But I said I'd definitely do one, if not two. So we will do this week, and we will finish up next week. We will do another one next week. This week is based on river nymphing. Miss Zula, how you doing, Tim? How you doing, Gary? Yeah, we're the same, Gary. We open on St. Patrick's Day here as well, and it's kind of when I kind of kick the whole thing off. So looking forward to St. Patrick's weekend. But so tonight it's all about river fishing. We've got two cracking dry flies. I got a kind of wet fly / biter fly pattern to do for you, and I got probably one of the best early season nymphs I've ever managed to fish or tie coming in there as well. Hang on a second, focus went off that camera just a little bit. I'd say I hit the voice and knocked it away a bit, so let's just straighten it up for you to get that looking good. But so yeah, so that's what we've got planned. Now next week, for those that will be tuning in, it won't be a Saturday night. It'll actually be probably either thanks Eugene. Hey Jason Duchette is on there from Canada. Thanks Jason. We will actually be on either Friday night or Sunday night. I just haven't got it confirmed yet. It's just my nephew's 21st is on up at home in Wexford, and I'm going to head up there. And of course, we all know Sunday is Mother's Day, so I'll be tied up that day. So more than likely, the last live show for this season will happen on Friday night. I'll let you all know early in the week. How you doing, Colin O'Gara? Let you all know early in the week, and we'll take it from there. The wife is on there as well, Deirdre Driver. She's over there. I can see her here. She's over in Clare at the moment. Hope Tommy settled all right tonight, honey. She's over in Clare at the moment visiting her mum. So how you doing? All the way to Clare. You did, Graham. Yeah, Graham said he sent us a little bit of snow there, folks, from Sweden yesterday. Thanks, Graham, for that. Yeah. It was enough. Jesus, the whole bloody country. Well, Dublin came to a standstill anyway. I think we got no snow here in Kilkenny. Very little here in Thomastown anyway. Hey, June Jack Cantwell, good to have you on with us. But we got very little snow here yesterday in Thomastown. A bit of a blustery shower, but like it was gone within seconds. And I was looking at all these pictures of the M50 with cars being abandoned and everything, going, holy moly, it's like a different world. But anyway, so look at, we're all here, and as Queen said, the show must go on. I'm really looking forward to getting back online here and meeting up with everyone. I suppose the last comment I'll make on this is just thanks so much to everyone for their support over the last couple of weeks. It's meant so much to us all. And being patient with us all here in piscarifly as well. So a few people have to wait a little bit longer for their flies and different things like that, and chats and things. But look at, we'll all get there soon enough, and the rivers and lakes will still be there. We have a big season ahead of us. We got some great stuff planned through Piscari Club, of course, and really looking forward to it. Really looking forward to what's coming this season. Got the European Championships lined up for Poland later on in the season on the River San. Of course, our trivia master Dave Donovan is the captain. How you doing, Martin Corcoran as well? Lily's still not in bed. Oh my God! So hi from Lily. Hi Lily, if you're watching, pet. But how you doing, Robbie? Absolutely, Gary. Absolutely. But right, so we're going to get cracking in here some flies. Okay, we got to get going here. We got to get some flies going. Season's already kicked off for some people, and for others, they're anxiously waiting. Like Ricky. I know Ricky went out today and he got a couple of pike. Might just calm him down a little bit. But we're going to tie a nymph here first. Now, I've tied similar stuff. This probably has been my most productive nymph for the last 3 or 4 years. Hey, Jim Orlando, good to have you on with us there from Canada. But this has been probably my most productive nymph for the last 3 or 4 years. Not this specific nymph, but a variation of it. But I'm fishing an awful lot of these, and I'm tying an awful lot of these. And last season, this was my #1 nymph for March and April. It was absolutely devastating to rivers. And I'm going to tie this one for you. So in the vice here, I've got a size 14 Tahaku G-Cook, and I got a 3.5mm black nickel tungsten bead super glued up onto that bead. By the way, folks, I said Dave is back. We got some nice prizes there as well for you. I'll talk to you about that in a minute. But also, if you share the stream, hit that share button, and anybody that shares the stream, as always, will be in to win tonight's flies. And the 4 or 5 I've got tied there. I won't show them off too easy. Give you some surprises in regards to what patterns are coming. But there's a box of a nice little tub of flies there to get you going for the early seasons. Ricky did it, yeah. You'll get you through the next couple of weeks, all right. So onto that hook, we are going to put in some. I've got to get the code of this actually for you. It's just a bit scrumpled up here. It's Tommy Fly number 39, I think it is. Sorry, 09. I think it's 09. Okay, it's a chartreuse. Okay, a chartreuse Tommy trade. Can't be tying nymphs without Tommy trade. And it's going to layer down a little bit of that on the bed of the river, or on the bed of the river. Bed a bit of that down on the hook. Okay. We have a Cocktail Leon tail going in there as well. Congratulations to Leinster last weekend for winning the All Ireland Banks, and indeed Sean Dempsey with a very impressive score. 20-something, 28 fish, 26 fish, I can't rightly remember. But Leash Angling Centre last weekend hosted the National Bank Championships, where the 4 provinces competed. There was 6 members from each province that qualified, and myself and Mark were lucky to be on the Leinster team there, good old Leinster team, and we'd done the business. It was great. Enjoyable old day. Now I've got a bit of copper wire, and I'm going to add that onto the hook too. And as usual, folks, if you have any questions or anything, shoot them across. I'll do my best to get to them. Or you can give us a shout on piscarifly.com if you have any questions coming in for the new season. Don't be stuck. If you're looking to advance or improve on things, do give us a shout here. Now, what I'm going to use for the topping of this one. Now, so when I say last season, this is one of my best flies. The last couple of seasons was the summertime version of this is a copper bead with slightly lighter colour Tommy thread, which is the 6 instead of the 9, which is that one there. Okay, and it has Cocktail Leon over the back with no rib. Okay, very important. When you're fishing this on dry dropper, you go Tommy Fly number 6 and you go no rib. The rib, I remember fishing this fly a season or two ago, getting good fishing on it in the early season as a nymph, fishing it in Euro nymph style. But then once I switched to dry dropper with smaller versions of it, I really wasn't getting any great success with the fly. And one day I was fishing down on the Nore and the rib fell off it. I got a couple of fish and one thing or another just from casting it. The rib came off, and all of a sudden I started murdering fish on it. Like really, it was just unbelievable, the difference. So then the pheasant tail came off the back, and then I thought, oh god, the nymph was gone, and it wasn't as effective afterwards. So what I started doing then was putting Cocktail Leon up the back. Now I have tied that on the show before. Robbie, you were on just there saying the focus is a little bit off. How you doing, Ray Power? Wayne is on there as well. Good to have you on there, Paul. Well, I just focus that up a bit, is there? Bear with me 1 second now. Oh, I hope that's better. So I had Cocktail Leon over the back. Cocktail Leon is much stronger than, say, Coq de Leon is much stronger than pheasant tail going up the back of a nymph without a rib. So Coq de Leon up the back, everything else the same, no rib, and it's lethal under dry dropper. But for the actual one we're tying here, which is for Euro nymphing, early season, we're using melanistic cock pheasant, okay? As you can see the bar and that's on that, but you can see the back side of it, it's much darker, okay? It's not your typical brown, it's melanistic, alright? It gives a nice real dark stripe up the back of the fly. So I'm going to select off 6 to 8 fibres off of that cock pheasant, or that melanistic pheasant tail, and I'm going to trap them in there with that thread. Thanks, Robbie. Hey, George Burge is on with us there as well. Good to have you on this there, George. No, Stuart, it wasn't your eyes. It wasn't your eyes. It could be my eyes. Could be my eyes that I thought was perfect. It was decent enough, but it wasn't. Hope everybody's keeping well. Hope everyone's looking forward to the Irish Spring Angling Fair. That's our next big thing. We were up in North Kildare there last weekend. Just going to talk while I'm building up this body here. So I'm just adding a nice layer of this Tommy shit. As you can see, I'm leaving up near the bead a little bit clear. Okay, I'm not going to taper it up to the bead because I need that bit of space in a moment. But we're at the North Kildare Angling Show there, social night last Sunday. Great old crack, great turnout as always. Thanks to everyone that turned out and supported us. Done a bit of fly tying, brought a bit of gear with us and stuff like that. Great fun. How you doing, James? Hope. But the next big thing and the biggest event of our year definitely is the Irish Spring Angling Fair, which takes place on the 4th and 5th of May down in Adair Springs. Best weekend of the year, folks. Don't miss it. If you haven't been to the show so far, do get along. There's some lineup this year. Fly tyers, casters, exhibitors, guys fishing on the lake, kids fly fishing, kids fly tying. Absolutely top weekend. If you can't make, do try and get down for one day. Just finished off that, and I'm going to take that over away now for a moment. Good man, James. I know I'm just putting in a bit of Kevlar in there behind the bead. Take away that bit of waste, and now we're going to pull that melanistic pheasant straight up the back. Take your time, make sure you keep good, decent enough tension, not so much that you break the pheasant, but that it sits exactly on top, that it doesn't overpower and come down the sides too much. As you can see, it just sits perfectly on top. Now, I wouldn't recommend cutting off the waist just yet. Just leave it alone for a minute till you get the wrap on it, till we get this ribbon on it, to make sure that it's sitting exactly where I want it to sit. Sometimes I have to undo it. And just take your time. It's a copper wire rib. Come up along nicely there. And then once you're happy with it and you're satisfied that it's the top and has stayed in place, so then you can tie it off. Good man, Jamie. Well, that's not a bad. Neil Walker, how many turns? It's about 5 or 6. When I'm ribbing something like that, I tend to rib it quite close. It's really for strength as much as look. Okay, so rib it quite close. Give it a good strong rib. This fly is going to take an awful lot of abuse, as it's going to catch an awful lot of fish. Okay, you can see the lovely chartreuse underbody with the dark. Very good, yeah, good stuff, Gary. Yeah, they're great books. Thanks, Michael Callaghan. Glenn Campbell, so what way am I fishing this? This is on the point of a Euro nymphing rig. I'm bombing this thing down to the bottom and I'm dragging it along the bottom. That's in early season fishing. Looking to pick out those early season trout. Now they're not going to be in your typical summer lies where you this time of the year they're definitely going to be sitting back a little bit. They're going to be in the eddies, along the margins, possibly, depending on the way the water's going to be once we start. I'm just after exposing the tip of a little bit of CDC here now. I'm going to put a little CDC collar on here. I'll come back to that there now in a minute, Glenn. But there's 2 ways of putting CDC onto the hackle of a nymph. One is to split the nymph, put it in your magic clip or your bull clip or whatever you're using, and spin it on, but it makes the core very dense, and I find it overpowers the fly, and you don't really get that really supple. Jamie, good question. Jamie, I use black. Sometimes use black mono for it. I wouldn't go clear. I've tried clear for the dry droppers, and I'm not mad about it. It didn't have the same effect. When you're tying this in dry dropper, you've just got to come to terms with the fact that you've got to tie plenty of them, because they are going to go apart. That's a 3.5 mil Jerd. I'm watching three things here and answering all the questions. Great to see everyone so into it. And I will get around to as many people as I can. But yeah, so Jamie, just putting a clear rib in it just doesn't do it for this particular pattern, and as well for dry dropper. This one is perfect with a copper rib, or sometimes I put a black rib on it, but the copper seems to be most productive. And as for the dry dropper version, it is no rib, I'm afraid, and it's just, you're going to get 6-10 trout with it, maybe a couple more, and then you're just going to have to replace it. So tie plenty of them, because they have been absolutely my number one nymph for quite a long time. So we're going to put 2 turns of CDC on that. Again, we don't want the CDC to overpower our fly. We just want it to cloak back along, and when it gets wet, just give that lovely bubble effect that the little micro bubbles of the water will actually, of air will actually catch against that CDC, as you can see there. Okay, it's not overpowering. It's quite slight, the amount of CDC I put on it, but it's perfect, you know. How you doing, Anthony Bolton? Good to have you on there. I don't, James. You're going to have to contact the club to ask them that. I don't have any information on Orclair. I fished it an odd few times in different competitions, but the best thing is, once you join the club, get in touch with one of the guys. They're very helpful up there. Lovely group of lads, and they'll help you out, no problem. Now we got a little bit of Spectre dubbing, Peacock 46, and I'm just putting on a very, very slight little piece. As always, less is more. Neil Walker. I just hold back those CDC feathers. Get that tucked in just behind the bead. With finish. What I like about this pattern is it has a couple of real assets to it as such, okay? One thing, you got that subtle hackle, okay, which will trap a few air bubbles, which makes it nice and soft. I always like soft nymphs. I have a soft hare's ear. I have a soft, hey, Rob Redmond's on there from Wales, good to have you on there. Joe Ronan's on as well, and Jacob Griffin. You know, I like the soft hackle. I have a soft hare's ear there as well that you can check out on the website. That's really, really good for early season fishing. I do always like that soft hackle. It traps a few air bubbles and makes a very natural, very meaty look. You have the black bead with the peacock, which is very good. The peacock dubbing, which is very good in coloured water. If you're fishing coloured water, black will always stand out more than any other colour. Like thanks, Anthony Brady. Absolutely, Anto. Absolutely, Anto Boyle. Good to meet up too. But you know, black is always the best colour to stand out. And then you got that lovely bang of that chartreuse underneath. That real bang and that real bright, vibrant Tommy fly chartreuse underneath. That thing, it just sticks out a mile when it's down on the river. So definitely one I would be having. One of the first flies to go on my point, the point of my rig for the start of the season this year. 3.5, 3 mils. Kevin, yeah, good man. I have to get some chartreuse. Well, the Tommy chartreuse is pretty special. It is fantastic. It's so vibrant, so intense. So there we go, folks. There's our nymph pattern. That's our one nymph pattern. Absolutely, Robert Flaherty, one for the box. Someday we'll turn all these shows the last 3-4 years into a book, and we'll call it one for the box. But there's the nymph pattern. That would be definitely the first nymph that'll go on my fly this season, or on my rig this season, and we'll get a good swim on the Kings probably, because I say the Nore's going to be too heavy for us down here Paddy's Day, so it'll probably be the Kings River somewhere. I'll get in somewhere for an hour or two, St. Patrick's Day after the parades, and give it a bit of a swim. So get that one tied. Simple enough nymph, but really, really good. Just watch your CDC hackle there. Don't overpower it. You just want a very slight little hackle on that, just to give that effect, that lovely soft hackle, and say meaty effect that it gives to it. So that one's gone into the tub there. Anyone that has shared the stream, don't forget. Good question, Craig. Do I prefer nymphs on bronze hooks, or do you? I use black nickel all the time. Do, Colin, do, yeah, I'd love to hear your feedback as well. I use black nickel all the time for hooks. It's just Hanik and Duhaku are the two that I use the whole time. Bronze hooks is never really come into question, because there's not too many bronze hooks I'm aware of that are barbless. So thanks, Rob. So I tend to stick. Thanks, Brian. So I tend to stick to the black nickel for the reason because I just love Hanik and I love Duhaku. They're my go-to hooks. But it's something I never really put too much thought into. Dylan, it depends. It depends on the weather. We won't get an early hatch of them. I'd say most years it'll be nearly April. Again, depending on the weather. If we get that cold northeasterly blowing down, Dylan Roberts has asked a question about an early hatch of Iron Blues. If we get that cold northeasterly that we've had blowing here for the last 3 to 5 seasons, coming mid-March into April, well then you'll see them come out in April. But you know, you're going to get a large dark olive, and the next 2 flies I'm actually tying are 2 dry flies that I would always have with me when at the start of the season. And nothing like catching an early trout on a dry fly. You know, you're going to see a little pocket here and there. There's a little bit of protection from the wind, and you're going to see an odd hatch of, you know, something coming off. It is that time of year. Of course, it's all dependent on where you're fishing. If you're down on the southern rivers like the Function, the Blackwater, the Albeg, and places like this, you know, there is trout probably freely rising down there now at the moment. And you can get some dry fly action. But up around here where I am in the north, April and early May, yeah, absolutely, Dave. Yeah, I agree, Dave. I was just on there, April and early May before we see our Iron Blues. But you'll get some large dark olives and stuff hatching in. This time of the year, if you put it right over the trout, he's not going to say no. You know, they're fairly hungry, and just picking the right hook here now for this one. They're fairly hungry, and yeah, Country Pursuits era. It's a J voice that I'm tying on. If anyone's asking that question, it is a J voice. Yeah, they're fairly hungry, so I tend if I'm dry fly, if I'm going to stick up a dry fly, it's going to be a size 14. You know, it's going to be a 14 or 12, and that's what I just put in the device here. It's a size 14 301 Duhaku. Okay, this is something, and I've never tied this live or on a video before. When it comes to my early season dries, they're not the prettiest. Okay, but then I do know I fish a lot of competitions around the world, and if you see some of the flies that some of the top anglers are using, dries and wets, or dries and nymphs, like, you're going, geez, that's, how did you achieve what you did on that joke? You know, and I'm that kind of a tire. I like the, you know, a bit of body to my fly. I like a bit of rustic about it. You know, and this is one of those, like, the next 2 dries actually, you know, they're not there to catch anglers, they're there to catch fish, is the best way of describing it, I suppose. So I'm going to start on my 301, and I'm going to put in, as always, a little bit of Kevlar. That's our own Kevlar. You can get it on our website. I use it for pretty much everything, as you all know now. And I got a little small piece of foam here. This is from Dave Downey. It's a little olive, dark olive piece of foam. Okay. Now I've tied this fly with orange and stuff as well, but I've never been as successful as I am with just a dull old olive. Okay, this dull old olive colour. And what we're going to do is just tie that in over the top of the bead, over top of the hook, should I say. Don't put too much pressure on that Kevlar just yet, because it will cut through the foam, just like so. Okay, and that's fine. That was on purpose. And then I'll go back over and I'll start trapping it down. Make sure you get in position. It's got to sit directly over the eye. Don't tie it right tight up to the eye just yet. Okay, get it up there a couple of mil short of the eye, but I'll keep going back over and forward till I get it all really well trapped in and nice and secure, and not bulking up the body too much. Okay, come back up, and what we're going to do now is we're going to add in a little bit of dyed olive English partridge, as you can see there. Okay, I'm going to expose the core. By just catching it in my hackle pliers, pinching it there and exposing the tip. And we're going to tie there. Now, depending on the size of your partridge, okay, if you have to use a larger partridge hackle, what you do is you start it further down the hook. Okay, very important. Proportions here are absolutely crucial. How do Miles Riley? Good to have you on there. Proportions here are absolutely crucial. Okay, depending on the size of my feather, I will start it at what particular part of the hook. Okay, so what I'll do is I'll put it in there to start, and I'll secure it in there right at the foam, and I'll have a look at it like so, and I go, oh, God, that's way too long, or if it's too short, it's not really going to be too short, but if it's way too long, I'll just come back, remove it, just, you know, it just got lapped up on itself that time, re-expose it, and I'll just move my thread down a little bit, and I'll work from there, okay? Proportions of this hackle are absolutely crucial to the effectiveness of the fly. What I'm going to do now is catch the stem with my hackle pliers. I'm just going to start winding this around the hook. Don't have to be fancy here. Okay, just get it around the hook for a moment. It can be quite brittle. Two to three turns. Get the max out of it. Get the max you can out of that feather. Get your Kevlar in there and secure it off. Cut away our waste. We still have a bit of work to do on this. Okay, stroke the whole thing forward. Now I know someone's going to come up with a suggestion here at some stage about the tying of this fly, and trap it all in. And why don't you do this, and why don't you do it like a parish or a clink hammer? Trust me, it doesn't work as well. What I'll do now is catch the foam and the hackle, bring it above the shank of the hook, and get a couple of turns underneath. It's not bad. Really isn't bad, no. It's not bad. Yeah, that's nice. Yeah. Another reason why I didn't do this too often on live show is because it's an awkward fly. It's a very, very awkward fly, and you'll see in a few minutes why it gets so awkward. Okay, and when you're doing it on a live show and things don't go right for you and they tend to go wrong, it can be it can put you under a little bit of pressure. But look, we all know each other so well at this stage, and you know what I'm like, that it's we get by. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add in a little cocktail tail here. Just keep stroking back those partridge feathers out of your way. And take them out of my waist. David Donovan's on there, folks. Questions coming up. What can you win? I got a nice fly box there for everybody, or for somebody who gets to fill it for the new season. I've also got two of our protective rod sleeves. I don't know if you saw them on Facebook or saw me using them. You're very close there, Keith Kearney. Yeah, absolutely. Very close to where I'm going with this. Like a piscarifly. Okay, this thing is just unbelievable. I got a little bit of Tommy fly, back to the Tommy fly again. This is number 6, okay? Tommy fly number 6. Always try and make sure when you're tying with this, folks, that your hands are clean, especially when you're handling a piece like I am now at the moment. It does take away the intensity if you've been hands aren't completely clean. We'll tie that in there and just leave that there now for a minute. Now we got a little bit how you doing, John Keller? Good to have you on with us there. Absolutely, Tony. Yeah, well, there's be some nights I'd be on this live show, and I tell you one thing, the sweat is be running down my forehead, especially when I'm looking down, really trying to concentrate, and something happens, or something snaps, or something drops, or something's going wrong, and I go, oh God, in the back of my head, it's like, you know, the duck, the scenario, the duck is nice and calm on top, but his legs underneath are going like 90, or panic. Did Dave ask the question, or is Ricky just missing? So I got a little bit of dark olive rabbit here, okay? So either use, and I got a small little bit of sparkle going through. It's a little bit of gold sparkle, as you can see, only a small little bit. Use something like really soft, like rabbit, or even kabuk dubbin, or something like that. Something that really can really get very tight to the thread, okay? And I'm going to dub on a bit of that, and I'm really going to get it in there tight. Robbie Berry's there. Do you know why that is, Robbie? Because you're actually watching it on how you doing, Mark Williams? Good to have you on, was there? You're actually watching it on Peter Driver. See, this streams across a lot of platforms, Robbie. So you need, if anybody wants to see the question, Dave, if you're listening, I don't think he's asked the question yet, Dave. You jump across to the piscarifly. Dave is on there right now. So a few people have joined the 60/20 Pizzan Knot Club. What is required to claim admission to the club? Okay, so a few people have joined the 16/20 Pitsan Knot Club. I don't even know the answer to this. What is required to claim admission to this club? The question is on the question's on piscarifly, because Dave is actually watching it on piscarifly page, and he's just put it up there now. I don't know if this is going to be a Google question. Hi Hugh Flavin, good to have you on there. So anyway, I'm going to keep tying. Dave will watch that. Let's make it a bit of fun for tonight. Third correct answer for anyone that's a little bit behind. The third correct answer will win the prize. Okay, that gives everybody a bit of time to come on there and jump across the piscarifly Facebook page, the one where Dave is asking the question. Third correct answer wins the prize. So I'm just working my way. That's way too much dubbing. Working my way up along, not trying to interfere with the what I've already done up there by too much dubbing going in. Okay, be careful here. We want to get a nice even body and a tight body going up that fly, but don't overdo it. Leave a little bit of room there for what we're going to finish off on. Take my Tommy fly, and what I'll do is I'll just give that a little spin in between. I'll have to give that just a little twist in between my finger and thumb just to make sure it's not too flat. And I'm going to start winding it up the body of the fly. Again, just always watching the partridge. Stroke back any hackles that might be in danger of getting trapped in the body. They're precious. And get it up there to your space that you've left. So this is basically your dark olive emerger pattern coming out of a shuck. Super effective. Hope everyone's googling like mad there to see what the answer to that question is. But don't forget, as I said, the third correct question. If there's not 3 correct answers, then it'll be the nearest 2. Okay, just a little bit more dubbing there now, and we're just going to finish off this fly, making sure everything's in the exact position where I want it. I say I've tied it with orange foam so I can see it easier during the spring months. Get that focus back in there, right for you folks. During the spring months, stuff like that. But I've never had as much success as I would have had with just the olive. With the last little bit of dubbing, we're just going to pluck up that foam and little bit of partridge, just in order to get that in there like that and cover up any thread work that's in there underneath. And then I'm going to whip finish at the eye of the hook. A little bit of a tug there to make sure she's well secured. And there we go. That's it. Actually turned out quite well. I was often dreading, I often thought about tying that fly fish. I thought, oh jeez, it just can turn out so messy. Like, it's super effective, but it can turn out so messy. That's a little dark olive emerger kind of pattern that I've used for a number of years. And that thing is absolutely lethal. You're down fishing a piece of springtime water, and there's a hungry trout, and he's looking up, and that comes down across him. Thanks, Miles. That comes down across him, and he's a bit hungry. I tell you one thing, he'll break his neck to go to it. Really fishy kind of pattern. You know, looks savage in the water when it's coming down towards you. And really has produced some fantastic fish over the years for me. First time ever tying on a video for you, so I hope you enjoy that one. Just take it, and it's just proportions, they're not bad on that one. But just watch your proportions. If the hackles are too long, move them down along the hook, and you'll get it bang on. But there we go, folks. That's our first dry fly for the night, and we got another dark olive pattern coming there now in a few moments. But that one's lethal. I love that fly. That's fantastic. I can't even remember when I first tied that fly. I think I was working with jinglers at the time, tying jinglers and stuff like that. And excuse me, thanks Kieran. Tying jinglers and stuff like that. Jingler is a great fly for the early start of the season. Great dry fly, down on a cross dry fly I call it. And I started playing around with different patterns, and I tried that one, and geez, I remember going on, and I think it was the Nor, but I was living in Kilkenny at the time, so it would have been the upper Nor, up around Doro somewhere, and I put it up, and geez, I got some results on it, and I've always had a couple in the box ever since. Fantastic fly, really, really good early season fly. So we're going to move on to another little fly here now, that's another beauty. Dave will like this one. It's a little wet fly, okay? Technically, you could call it, I wouldn't say call it a spider, but it has the makings of a spider, but I think it's more of a wet fly. Okay, so what I got here is a size 302, size 14, and I put in a tub so I wouldn't lose it. I'm trying to get out of the bloody tub now. Hi to everyone watching on YouTube as well. I have it all wrote down here, and I meant to mention it. Dad is up watching New Extra as well. Hope you're enjoying the show, Dad. So I'm just taking out a little, absolutely Kevin, I'm taking out a little 2mm gold bead here, and I'm just putting it on the hook. Trying my best not to drop it. Normally when you drop a 2mm gold bead, there's no point even going looking for it. Okay, got it, first time, great. So I got a size 14 302 Tahaku wet fly hook here, and I put a 2mm gold bead on it. This is a real point fly. Okay, real point fly. Just having a look at the pattern here in front of me. Don't forget, folks, if you've shared the stream, you're in to win all these patterns tonight. They'll be sent out to you Monday morning. As always, I'll do the draw tomorrow evening at some stage, and you could be in with a chance to win these flies and into the tide beforehand. Dave is there. Plenty of correct answers. A 16-pounder on a size 20 fly. Okay, so we'll go back over that and we'll check out who was the third winner. Dylan, absolutely, it's coming, Dylan. It's coming. Dylan said we've had the Tommy fly, and the micro glint is coming. It is. Come on, Dylan. You know I love my Tommy fly and my micro glint. Both are so versatile and just I just love them. I think they're great materials. Okay, so I just put in a real bit of fine gold wire there into that one. Now, what I have to do next is just get a little bit of dual mylar gold and silver. So there's loads of correct answers in there for Dave's quiz. I'll go back over them later on and I'll confer with Dave, and it'll be the third correct answer, giving everyone enough time to come on, will win the prize. I'll let you all know tomorrow. So gold side out because we want, or silver side out because we want a gold body on this. Bring it down just to the bend of the hook. Great point fly. This is a cracking point fly. Wind it up the body. Touch and turns. Bring it off up there, just around about halfway or so, and then tie it off. Now we all know how famous the partridge and orange is. Anyone that's not from Ireland might realise that one of our most famous partridge and orange variations is the onion bag. Okay, use an onion bag to tie in our orange, and that's exactly what we're going to use here now as well. Is use onion bag to tie in the top half of this body. Okay, so just you basically pull it out. Okay, you've all saw me tie the lemon spider before with lemon bag sacking or whatever you want to call it. So we'll just tie that in there halfway, secure it in, bring it back on the gold a bit, and then tie up your thread on up. Now what we're going to do is going to wind this down onto the gold a little bit first. I don't want the gold to be exactly half, I want it to be a bit less. And then it flattens out as you wind it, and you start winding up the body, and of course that little gold flick comes through, and it also almost makes it like a two-tone body. Okay, focus is not great there again. Let's get this. You'll almost get a two-tone body. Bring it up towards the bead, and then come back down again over the top half where you had thread exposed. Don't go back over the gold again, because this stuff is kind of translucent, and the gold flickers through. But I'll build up that upper body to have it pure orange. It's not bad. Okay, we'll tie that off. Yeah, so I have a UV laser pen on the website there, Martin. Thanks, James, for a reply. And that's the best thing I use. Okay, UV laser pen. There's nothing to beat it. I don't use torches. Go and take the silver wire then. If you can't find it on the website, Martin, just give us a shout tomorrow and I'll sort it out for you. I'm in the shop all day tomorrow. Go and take that little nice silver wire. I'm just going to wrap it up that body. It's not too intrusive on the colours or the pattern. That silver wire is quite fine, as you can see, but just adds great strength and a little bit of shimmer off the onion sack. No, Gary, there's no time limit on our Neil Walker. It's an onion bag. Onion bag. Buy the onions. It's not the orange one. It's the onions. Very important. Gary, maybe it's the smell, Neil. Gary, no, we have no timeline. Absolutely no way. I'd always stand over a card. If it was 5 years old, I'd stand over Gary. Absolutely no problem. If you're looking for it at all, give me a shout. Indeed, if anybody's looking for it at all ever, do always pick up the phone. We're always here. And really appreciate your support that you give us the piscarifly here over the years, and looking forward to many more years to come, please God. So what I got here now is a little bit of partridge, okay, and I'm going to tie this in. There's a reason why I wanted to tie this fly for you tonight. I could have tied a partridge and orange, or we've all know how to tie a partridge and orange, but just a couple of things about this fly I really wanted to tie. Okay, don't even bother going in there to trim off that little bit of waste. That'll be fine in there for a minute. Okay, I'm going to wind this around. Just take it nice and gentle around the hook. Right there at the bead. Use up your entire feather. Get a couple of turns and secure it. Don't snap it off. Snip away the stem. Now what I want you to do is drag that forward. The one thing I notice about some spider patterns, and especially this one, there's a beautiful body there, and if you have the partridge can sometimes almost clog or block or restrict the visual effect that our lovely orange body with that gold butt can put on it. Okay, so what I do is I pull it forward. I take a little bit of hair's ear. Now sometimes what I'll do to achieve this is I'll actually put that hackle between the eye and the bead, and then basically I'm putting in a support for the hackle. Okay, now there's no other way to tie it in, only to tie in the hackle first and then put the support in afterwards. If you try to put in the dubbing first and then the hackle afterwards, it just doesn't have the same effect. Okay, if still manages to cluster, kind of camouflage the body, is the kind of way I'm looking for. So I'll dub on a nice bit of hare's ear there, nice and tight on the thread, and I keep pinching all those hackles forward, and I get that right in there at the butt of that hackle. As you can see, one or two might not be in exact perfect place for me, but that's okay. And that's probably enough. And at the same time then I'll go through the hackle and bring the thread back up to between the hackle and the bead. Now I'll take that hackle, put it all into position. I'll take another tiny pinch, small little pinch of hare's ear. Just looking at all my screens here in front of me, making sure I'm not missing anyone's questions. And I'll stroke all that back and I'll put one or two little turns in there. No matter how wet that fly gets, that hackle will not go down in the body. It'll bubble around it a bit, if you get what I mean. It'll bubble around. It might touch back here, but it will bubble around the fly. Okay? Amazing looking thing when it's wet. Absolutely amazing. Now, you need your dubbing brush here now. Thanks, Ryan. It's an absolute belter of a fly. It is a fabulous fly. Yeah. Just give that hare's ear on this side a little bit of a brush out. Now I tell you one thing, if you have that going down on a cross on a point fly, maybe a little black and silver, or even I'd fish that on a point fly with a partridge and orange coming in behind it. There's not many trout that are going to pass it up early season that are really, really hungry. And I say that the hackle just protrudes out because that hare's ear is so tucked up inside of it. It just really supports it with wet, and it'll bubble around the fly, and you'll still see that orange. And thanks, Peter. You still see that orange and the little gold tag at the end protruding out, and then when it gets wet, that orange will become slightly more translucent. There's no other material on the market that will give you that that kind of translucent look of that onion bag gives you. So the gold, once it gets wet, it becomes even more translucent, and it's just a lovely combination of a fly. It's not too orangey, it's not too gaudy. You can go glow bright and stuff like that, and they do work, but it's just a real natural colour orange. There's no way, thanks Gary, there's no way of really describing good question, Dylan. Why did I change? Because for a simple reason that when I'm doing the finishes, Dylan's asked the question there, the first fly tied, why did I change from Tommy fly to Kevlar to finish the fly? Thanks you, Flavin. The simple reason is Tommy fly is it's a floss, it's not a tri-thread. So it's fine, it's fine to construct what I need to construct in the body, but when it comes up to whip finishing and tying it off, it's just too weak. It's a floss, as you can see in my hand. It's a floss. See? It's just a floss, so I don't trust it to finish it. So I construct the body. It's okay to tie the tail and all, that's perfectly fine. But to finish it off in behind the bead, plus it's a bit more denser than thread, and I don't want any kind of yellow showing up around the bead when I'm whip finishing off and stuff like that. So that's why I always switch over from the Tommy fly to the Kevlar to finish that particular fly. It's just a much stronger finish to the fly. So there we have, there's our lovely little wet fly for tonight. An absolute beautiful fly. Again, it's just about stopping and thinking about your construction, thinking about how you can support feathers and stuff like that. You can tie that fly with the gold butt, the orange body, put on the bead, whip on your partridge behind it, finish the fly, and absolutely 100% you will catch fish in that. But it's the difference then of what happens after a couple of fish, or it's those extra fish. It's always worth your while just taking that little bit of time, and even the looks of it, like, it just looks absolutely magnificent here in my hand. I'm not sure if the camera really does it pure justice, but what a beautiful fly. Yeah, that's going in there. There's someone going to win 2 of those because I tied another one earlier on for them. So don't forget, you can pick up all these flies by just sharing the stream even now. And we're going to move on to our last dry fly. Okay, our last dry fly for the night. This is another great early season dry that I use quite a bit. See what hook. We'll go 301 size 14. We'll keep it big again. Now I do tend to tie this on a 16 and 18 more often than not, but just for the show, so you all get a good visual of it, we will go with absolutely Mark Williams. Very nice without the B2. Yep, good point. Absolutely, yeah, that fly will work really well without the B2. It's my real go-to point fly early season. I wanted the spiders to get dragged under a little bit more, maybe down to the level of trout, or if I know the trout are feeding a bit deeper, I'll go with a beaded I'll go with the beaded wet fly on the point. Okay, so here we got again 301 size 16. How you doing, Tim Williams? Good to have you on with us there. We got a 301 size 14 in the vice there, and I'm going to add a little bit of primrose. This is classic wax simplify primrose. Really lovely colour thread. I use a lot of it for my Greenwell spiders and stuff, and I just put a bit of cobbler's wax on it to achieve that lovely Greenwell spider colour I like. And we're going to tie that in there. Okay, we got a little bit of dyed dark olive fine deer hair here, as you can see. Okay. We're going to take out, before I pinch that, better put Dylan Roberts over his misery. We got some microglint. I got golden green, piscarifly golden green. Microglint is golden olive. I do need, actually, I've got a bit of a dose coming on me there. It's been, look at the last couple of weeks have been late nights tying, trying to catch up on stuff from Australia. Emotional, everything been going on, and I knew it was going to catch up on me at some stage, and I think it's actually really starting to catch up on me now. So I think the next few days, the wife might have to listen to a bit of man flu complaining. But anyway, okay, so what I did was I just doubled over a piece of microglint, and between my finger and thumb, I broke it out, as you can see. And you get all the lovely, really fine, very supple, sparkly bits. Okay? I use a lot of this for winging in dabblers and stuff as well. And we're just going to tie a little pinch of that in there first. And leave it hanging out the back. Leave a bit of waste hanging out the back, but tie that in there first. Then we're going to take a pinch of our deer hair. But I must say, folks, it's great to be back on, which is all here as well. Yes, Neil. Yeah, could be a good idea, right? Great to be back on live with everyone and see everyone on, and really looking forward to the season ahead. Kind of what the last couple of weeks has taught me, and is the importance of having fly fishing, and having not just fly fishing as regards being able to go out and fish and catch fish, but having a fly fishing community or a fly fishing fraternity that people, you know, that you can reach out to and they respect you, and yeah, it's been amazing. You know, it's just, yeah, it's so important. It's really has. So I'm just stacking, not even stacking, I'm just plucking a bit of these out. For this particular fly, don't stack, you can put it into a deer hair stacker and stack it and get it all very tight, but it's very square, and I like it a little bit more kind of natural. I'm going to tie those deer hair in out at the front of that hook, but I'm just getting my proportions right first, making sure I've got it exactly where I want it. There's quite a decent wing on this. Now before I tie it in directly onto the hook, what I'll do is I'll come up around. Okay, this is a little bit, I'm going to just have to force that down on my way for a minute there now. So I'll come around the deer hair. If I can get it back in between my finger and thumb. A little bit awkward. Okay, this is going to be one of those moments now where this, you know, I said about the duck paddling. We're getting very close to that moment there now, folks. Trying to get the thread bobbing in around. It's a part of the problem here is I do have to tie in very dark conditions because all the light is facing towards me and not on top as I normally would. And sometimes thread just doesn't play in your favour. So basically what I'm trying to do, you know what I'm trying to do? Okay, I'm trying to do that. Okay, I'm trying to get the thread around the deer hair. Normally what I would do is I get the thread around the deer hair just like that, and then I bring the whole thing down on top of the hook and makes the deer hair, you can't even see it because I'm up off camera, sorry folks. Yeah, absolutely, Neil, totally agree with it. But so I'm trying to get a lap on that there, and then I bring it down directly on top of the hook. It's a good technique if you want that deer hair to sit directly on top of the hook, which you kind of do for this pattern, need it to be there. It's a good technique to do it. I'm going to cheat a little bit and I'm just going to go and do it as normal. Okay, pinch and pull down. But I do, just because what happens with a direct pinch and pull down is it can spin around the hook. Okay, and it just means you have to try and compensate for it and get it back around, and it can be a bit messy, and you might get the desired finish on the fly if you're not careful. It's not too bad. Not quite sitting on top of the hook as much as I like for the moment, but it's not too bad. I'm just going to stroke it back now to make sure I get it tucked in the right length. Now I'm going to take away the waist, but just mind the microglint tag that you've left sticking out the back of the hook for the moment. Don't just go in there and snip that out of it. We're going to need that again there now in a moment. Now what I'll do is I'll just trim away that deer hair, moving the microglint out of the way the whole time. Just take your time and trim it up nice and neat. We can tidy it up now again in a moment. A little bit. So now what we're going to do is we're going to take that microglint and pull it back over the top and hold the whole thing together. And then bring your thread up a little bit. Again, stop a little bit short of the eye. There's no need to go right to the eye with this. We still have quite a bit of work left on this fly. But it's very important to get it sitting all above the hook. Okay? Put a little turn underneath to help us a little bit. And then bring our thread on down. Now you can trim off that microglint just a little bit. Show you the tips. Which adds a lovely little bit of very subtle sparkle into that wing. As you can see. It's a lovely, lovely way of putting in a little bit of sparkle into that deer hair. Yeah, Neil, that helps too. Wax on the hook helps, certainly does. Keep it directly above. Keeps it nice. It just keeps it really tight, and it kind of stops it from flaring a bit. It keeps it really tight, but this is nice deer hair. I don't know where I picked it up, and it's quite pliable, manageable. So now we're going to add in a little bit of coq de leon there as a tail. It's lovely, you know, it's a real sign you're into you're into the start to see. Now, going nymphing and all that, yeah, look at you all know I like nymphing, and I do a lot of it, competition reasons wise, more so than anything else, I suppose. But when you're actually, going up a lovely little stream like the King's River there, around Paddy's weekend, there's a little bit of bloom coming on, or, a little bit of, what would you say, growth coming on, like, and then you see an odd trout rising, and you put up a dry fly, a nice decent sized dry fly. Go on, Gary. I get a lot of funny looks off a lot of people when it comes to flight time too, and where I gather my flight time materials. But it's not like throwing up that dry fly and then seeing that first trout come up for it. It's magic. Like here, I've got a little bit of dark olive hare's ear mixed in with black seal's fur for the body of this fly. Okay, so I kind of darken it up fairly bit, and again, I want it fairly rustic looking, spiky and sticking out a bit. What I'm going to do is going to dub that on to my primrose thread. Onion bag is fantastic. Let me show you what other bags are out there that are good. Okay, you got the onion bag, which is the orange. Where's it gone? I use this stuff all the time, and I've been using it for years. Like onion bag was one of the first materials I would have learned how to tie with no shields back in the 90s. You know what I mean? Using onion bag. Then you have black mandarin bag. That's the black mandarin bag there. Very, very good for bodies. Really, really good. And I say it's kind of some way translucent. Like that's a red bag. What was in that bag? I don't know. But that's another red sack. God knows what was in it. If I saw that in the supermarket, I probably just bought whatever it was and brought it home. Whether I ate it or not, I don't know. That's the lemon sacking. That is absolutely fantastic for the body of nymphs. Lemon sacking. Really, really good as well. So there is, that stuff is fantastic stuff. It's so applicable to, it's great material, and there is nothing like it on a spool you're going to buy. Like, so once I've dubbed that on, nice and tight, we're going to start forming a nice profile on this body. Nice carrot shape. Get up there around the head. Just for a moment again, like we did with the previous dry fly. Don't overdo the dubbing at the top first just yet. What we're going to do then, once we have our dubbing in, it could be a log bag, yeah. Anthony Bolton. No, Anthony, that's the King's River we fish down here. There we go, good man, Colin. Little pink onion bag, one of his top nymphs. That's it, Gary. We're fishing the Kings down in Thomas, or down in Ishnag, is the Kings River. But yeah, the Kings River up there, I don't know how that fishable will be this time of the year. So what I've done is I just bring the primrose just randomly and roughly down across that body and back up. Nothing fancy about it. Don't try and get it all nice even turns. It's not supposed to. Okay? Very, very simple, as you can see. What I'll do then is I can give a little brush just to get a couple of the extra little fibres of hare's ear of black to stick it. You don't want any the big massive seals for black ones, but want just still some little bit of natural look around. Once I'm happy with that, then I'll go back to the same dubbing and I'll just dub up around that wing now, and then that's it. It's a belter. Another really, really good early season dry fly. Checking all the screens here to see if there's any. Ken Furlong's on there as well. How you doing, Ken? Claude Capelli over from Canada. How you doing, Claude? Hope you're keeping well. Won't be long now, Ken. We'll be hitting the coastline for a few sea trout. What I'll do then is I'll just dub up around that, one or two little turns in underneath, just to expose that eye, and I'll put that wing back in place. It's all about the little bit of flash in the wing as well. Beautiful little fly, little glimmer of sunlight hits that, and it'll just sparkle. Quick finish off. Green, yeah. Quick finish off, but do play, like, definitely for the partridge and orange. One of the best partridge and orange patterns is the onion bag. There's absolutely no question about it. It is a top class component to it, to the classic partridge and orange. So there we go, folks. That's another lovely early season dark olive. Definitely a cracking pattern. Really attractive. It's rustic and it's supposed to be like that. Yeah, maybe I will, Robert. Maybe I will. I think it's more sleep I need than anything else at this stage. But well, Gary. But really good dry flies, you know. Lovely going to early season, tying a couple of dries, bringing a couple of dries with you, especially you ones, you know, that'll pull up a trout. Trout will come up blind for us, and don't be afraid to tie them big. I even have them on 12s in my box for early season, because trout will come up from them. They're hungry, and I always say just give them a feed. Sometimes you just want a feed. Really good patterns there. The nymph is good, and the wet fly will surely pull a couple of trout for you if you're struggling in an old cold wet spring morning. But there we have it, folks. Great to be back online with everyone. We're finished for tonight. I say I will do another night. It will be our last night next week. I know this whole winter in our live series, and thank you all again so much for your respect and your support over the last couple of weeks and months indeed. Our series didn't work out the way we normally worked out, but you know, we were here still, and we were looking forward to a good season. We will have one more night, and it will be all about lock style. It'll be about getting ready for the lakes and looking at some cracking patterns for the lakes, but it'll probably be next Friday night. Okay, I'll notify everyone. Watch out on their Facebook page about what day it's going to be, because they have a 21st up in Wexford, and I got to go up home for a while, and then of course Mother's Day is the day after, so I got stuff to do for that. But I hope everyone enjoys the rest of their weekend. Stay safe out there, everyone, and anyone that's fishing or heading fishing in the week, enjoy it. We'll be on the rivers on the 17th, and don't forget, if you need any fly tying or fly fishing materials, do check out piscarifly.com. And if you need any advice on setups or gear or fly patterns or anything like that, we're always here to help. We're always delighted to help people out, and so pick up the phone and give us a buzz here, and we'll gladly give you what advice you need to get you going and make sure you enjoy your season coming forward. But I'll see you all next week anyway, folks. Take care, enjoy the rest of your night, and see you all real soon. Thanks for watching. See which, well, I don't know which screen to look at to turn it off. Alright, be good, everybody.